Fire away.
Keith, just what are your first impressions of? Do you look at when a bracket comes out? Do you look at it? Do you just focus on Richmond? How do you approach when you first see bracket for a tournament?
Well, first, let me say that I was a little bit surprised. I really didn't think about Richmond during this whole process. I was really thinking it was going to be Dayton or maybe St. Louis, but I never thought in a million years it would be Richmond, but it really doesn't matter. So I just kind of go one opponent at a time. You know, we at this point of the year, usually you've played so many games that anything they throw at you, you can handle. It's a little bit different this year.
What will you have to do better defensively against Richmond? Like what got away in that last matchup with the Spiders? Of course, it was first game back.
I think, first and foremost, when you play Richmond, you can't give up layups and you can't give up threes. And what I mean by that is their action gets them layups, the backdoor cuts, the lack of concentration. And then the three balls are generally transition or kickouts out of the post or getting beat one-on-one. So you got to give up twos and not layups and threes.
Is it an advantage for you having just played them so you know exactly what they like to do and they probably won't have a chance to change much?
I mean, you could say it's an advantage for them too. So, Jerry, to be honest with you, we've worked hard against what they've done for most of the year. So it's just a matter of executing. We know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. Now, who's going to play better? Now, they're a little banged up. Golden's got a bad hand, and Blake Francis landed on his back last night. So, it's just all mindset for us. We just have to have the right mindset, the right discipline, play the right way, and make sure that we care at the defensive end. We have to play better defensively than we have the last three games in order to win the game.
Was the defensive lapses in the last three games tied to the pause, or is there something else?
I mean, I'm sure originally it was tied to the pause, and then it's tied to mindset, right? You have to care about that end. If you don't care about that end, then certainly you're not going to play very good defensively. And ultimately that comes down to me. Like, I've never, ever in my career ever had trouble getting guys to play at that end. So if you don't think you're coming out, sometimes you don't play at that end.
Keith, I know you said all year that you feel your team is one that could go on a run, that you could at least compete with anybody in the conference. How do you feel about that? Your team's mindset right now? Is it ready to go on a run, or is it, I can't wait to get this over? Like, do you have a sense?
I think it's been such a weird year. It's hard to judge. I think we'll compete hard. I do. Now, when we get hit in the mouth, will we compete hard? That's going to be the biggest thing. But our guys generally, when we play good teams, right, in good environments, for the 4 years I've been here, for the most part, have played as hard as they could play. So can you offset some habits that aren't great? Or, that's going to be the biggest thing. Do we have enough discipline to play 4 good games? Do you have enough discipline, toughness, endurance to play 4 good games?
You got Kelly into the mix a little bit Saturday night, and Bekelja's getting healthier. Do you think that might help your defense?
Yes, I do.
More guys?
Well, I think more guys, and then guys playing shorter, harder intervals, and then guys that are good defensively. I think that helps. But then if somebody gets ticked off because they're not getting as many minutes and decides they're going to have a mind problem, then that creates an issue too, more guys. It's a double-edged sword. I do think this, when you're not, again, I haven't experienced this very much over the last, 13 years. But when you're not playing for championships in the regular season, at the end of the regular season, sometimes that gets hard. Like I used to tell my guys at Akron, every game becomes a bigger game as the season goes on because we're playing for the regular season championship. And for 13 years, pretty much, that's what we did is we played for the regular season championship. So this is kind of a new deal for me because we haven't really been there for the regular season championship. Now, we've been there for the double bye, but kids are funny. Like you have to have – I always used to wonder how teams that weren't very good stayed motivated in February. Like how does a coach keep a team motivated that's not good? Right? That's hard, right? Like it's hard enough to keep motivated when you're playing well. But when you're not good, like really bad, I don't know how these guys do it sometimes. That was kind of a rampage, but it's true.
You're healthy, right? Everybody is pretty good?
Going into today's practice, we're pretty healthy. Pretty healthy for the most part.
Coach, you mentioned you're surprised you guys got Richmond. Why is that?
Well, a lot of things had to go right. I didn't really think about St. Joe's winning at Richmond. I do think St. Joe's played pretty good, but and then Blake Francis gets hurt and only plays 12 minutes and doesn't score a point. Golden's playing, didn't play the last 10, 11 minutes of the game. I just didn't think that St. Joe's would beat Richmond. And I didn't think Dayton would beat St. Bonaventure. I thought they had a chance. I thought that was a better chance. So we thought we were going to play Dayton most likely and then St. Louis secondarily. We didn't really think about Richmond. But the good thing is we're prepared to play Richmond. We have no excuses. We know what they're going to do. We just played them. We practiced against it probably more than any actions that we played against all year. So just a matter of executing. Nothing they do will surprise us.
This is probably a Dave question, but what about fans at Siegel Center?
Well, I do think that it's only Duquesne's luck that the tournament gets changed to Richmond, into Richmond, and then we play one of the two home teams that doesn't have to travel. But, it's a Duquesne jinx, I guess, right? We have to overcome that Duquesne jinx. That's number one goal of mine.
Keith, you get 11 a.m. tip. I'd say normally you'd say that's not that big of a deal because you play at noon all the time. We haven't played at noon since January. Anything different you change about the routine with an early start?
Well, the good thing for us is we practice in the mornings, so we're used to playing early. Right. The only thing I don't like is you don't get that extra walkthrough. You have to do your walkthrough the night before. I don't really like that. But other than that, we're more used to playing at that time than probably anybody in the country. We're just finishing up usually at that time. Good.
Go ahead, Dick. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, are your seniors, it could be their last game. Are they motivated in that respect?
If you're a competitor, anytime you play in a conference tournament, you should be motivated, right? So I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be motivated.